Hi, this is Dan Gallagher. I'm going to go over just briefly how you can use a Google form to create locks for digital breakout. So I started off with my Google form here. I customized the banner. I like to always have the name question as well as asking for email, and they're both required. One thing about email, if you didn't know it, if you go into your email question and you go down to the three dots, you can do data validation and have it set for text, set it for an email address, and then they have to enter an actual email address for that response. And you can put in any type of customized message here that you would like. So now for locks. So typically for a word lock, what I like to do is I would come down and I would set this either to a short answer or a paragraph style question. So I'm going to do a short answer. And I'm going to make it required because it is a lock. But I'm also going to go in and set my data validation. And when I do that, I usually go and change it from number to regular expression. And I set it to matches. And then whatever I put in here is what has to be entered for that question. So for instance, if this was a word lock, maybe it's going to be the word play. And custom error, I could put any type of clue in here that I might want. Let's do remember to capitalize. And also, when you're setting up a Google form, if I wanted to, I could also activate the description, and that would give me a space to enter a little more information for my participants. Now, I also do sometimes number locks. And with number locks, I do it just a little bit different. I set it to short answer, but with my data validation, I set this to number. And I set it to equal to, and then I'll enter whatever the number is for that lock. So maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and just like before, I can put in whatever custom error text or hint that I want to put in there. Now, when I go back to the word lock, I did have other options for my data validation. You do have number, text, length, regular expression. Text, it gives you some choices. You have contains or doesn't contain. If you enter it as a text and you say contains, that means that they can enter more than what is required and it would still be acceptable. So for instance, if my word lock was play and I had it set to contains, they could put text like plays a game. And that would still be acceptable because it had the word play in there. So what I try to do is I'll try to keep it as a regular expression and set it to matches so that it has to match exactly what I put here for it to be acceptable. Now it can also be other things than word locks. I like to use this for my directional lock. And in the description, I'll copy and paste different arrow characters. So left, right, up, down arrows that the participant can then copy and paste in as their answer response. As long as it matches the arrow pattern I put here, it would then be acceptable. So let's see how this looks. So when I go to preview my form, so I have to enter a name, I have to enter an email address, and as you can see, if I don't enter something that is an actual email address, it'll come up with that error text. Down here, I can put in the word play, and it's not acceptable because they're not all capitalized. And then my 4 digits, Now, because I never put any type of help text in, it's going to put in something for me as an assist. So it must be a number equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. So I might have to go back and fix that one. I highly recommend whenever you create digital locks using Google Forms, go in and check them out. Try it out yourself, submit just to make sure everything's the way you want.